If your code breaks every time you add a feature, you don't have a complexity problem. You have an abstraction problem. Let me show you what that actually means. Let me start with a familiar story. A developer named Alex joins a new team. First week on the job, Alex opens a file called Order Service. 2,000 lines long, business rules, database queries, payment logic, edge cases, comments like, "Don't touch this." Alex isn't confused. Alex is afraid because every small change feels dangerous. And here's the real problem. It's not that the system is complex, it's that everything is exposed at once. When you're forced to think about every tiny detail all the time, you stop thinking clearly. So, how do we stop drowning in details? That's the problem abstraction exists to solve. Abstraction is what lets you live at the right level of thinking. It's not about hiding code, it's about hiding irrelevant complexity. You can drive a car without knowing how the engine works. You press the pedal. The car moves forward, not because the engine details don't matter, but because they don't matter right now. That's abstraction. It lets you focus on intent instead of mechanics. Let's go back to Alex. The product team says, "We need to add PayPal." Sounds simple, but Alex looks at the code, and the payment logic is everywhere. Conditionals, provider rules, retry logic mixed with business logic. It looks something like this. Every new payment method means editing this logic. Change leaks everywhere. This is life without abstraction. Now imagine a different design. At the business level, the system asks only one question. Can you charge this customer? That's it. Notice what's missing. No Stripe, no PayPal, no conditions, just intent. When PayPal gets added, Alex doesn't rewrite the system. Alex adds a new implementation. Same contract, different behavior, zero fear. But here's the trap. Not all abstraction is good abstraction. Watch this. This looks abstract, but the decision is still leaking. The business code still needs to know how charging works. This is called a leaky abstraction. The interface exists, but the complexity escapes. If your code needs to ask how something works, you've already lost the abstraction. Quick clarification. People often ask, but don't you still need to know whether this is PayPal or Stripe? Yes, that decision still exists. The difference is where it lives. In a good design, that choice is made once, at the edge of the system, not inside your business logic. After that, the system stops asking what it is and only asks what it can do. Now, here's the part nobody warns you about. This abstraction doesn't fail immediately. It ships. It passes tests. It even looks clean. Then time passes. A new requirement shows up. Some payment providers need retries. 1 retry for PayPal, 3 retries for Stripe, none for bank transfers. Sounds like a small change. Notice what's happening. The abstraction didn't protect the system. It absorbed more knowledge. The method signature grows. The conditionals grow. And now the business layer understands provider-specific behavior. This is how bad abstractions rot. Not in one big failure, but one reasonable requirement at a time. With a real abstraction, this line never changes. Each provider handles its own retries. Same contract, different behavior. That's the difference abstraction makes when systems grow. Here's the deeper idea. Abstraction doesn't eliminate change. It decides where change is allowed to happen. Bad designs let change ripple everywhere. Good abstractions contain it. Like walls in a house, you can renovate the kitchen without tearing down the living room. That's how software grows without chaos. And this isn't about payments. It's about any decision that might change. Take notifications. Same idea, same benefit, different problem. That's how you know you're learning the concept, not just memorizing an example. Here's a mental model that helps. Think of abstraction like a contract at a hotel. You don't care how the room is cleaned. You care that when you walk in, it is clean. The contract defines the result. The staff can change. The tools can change. The process can change. As long as the contract is honored, everything keeps working. Let's lock this in. Abstraction means focus on what, not how. Define clear contracts. Hide decisions that are likely to change. Bad abstraction leaks details. Good abstraction creates freedom. Remember this rule. If your code needs to know how something works, you've already lost the abstraction. Encapsulation protects data. Abstraction hides complexity. Encapsulation decides what can change. Abstraction decides what you even need to think about. When abstraction is done right, systems stop feeling fragile. Change doesn't spread. Fear disappears. And growth stops being painful. That's why abstraction isn't about clever code. It's about choosing the right level of thinking so you can move fast without breaking everything. If your code keeps breaking as it grows, don't blame complexity. Look at your abstractions. In the next video, we'll build on this, using inheritance and polymorphism to let systems evolve without rewriting what already works. Once you learn to design at the right level, software stops fighting back. I'll see you in the next one.